Okay. All right. So I've gone through a couple different things. I'm going to go through and finish and go through the entire process of the discussion boards. But at the highest level, the final assignment is going to be find your question. Um, what is your initial thoughts on your question? So, was infrastructure spending more strongly associated with population growth than repair spending? Um, I would assume no, that it doesn't matter. It, what I would assume, and this would be how I would answer in the first discussion board, my initial thought is um, no, I don't think it would be more strongly associated with population growth um, than repair spending. The reason that I would think that is because uh, I would assume that most of the construction is improvements, repairing or improvements, and it's not brand new stuff. And so that would just be my initial assumption. So this key join unit, column E, I just left this spreadsheet the way it was intact. I didn't. I didn't take out some of these things. Maybe I should have and put in more information. But basically, this key join unit, this is telling us this is whoever student. This is the category, which is kind of irrelevant. This is the question. The key join slash unit. What this is telling us is what um, information do we need to try to put together. And whenever we join something via a key or we put two data sets together via a key, what we're doing is we're assigning a unique identifier to every single project and putting all that information together so that we can reference it across. Um, this is the coverage and method note. The repair classification is not a single standardized field. And this went 1990 through 2025. I think that's because what the book was 2025. Um, and and so the coverage and method note, I wouldn't worry about that. The primary and secondary source links. This feasibility is what is the likelihood you're able to answer this question completely, like truly give a full 100% answer from 1990 to 2025, break everything down. The feasibility on this one's pretty low. The reason is because 90% of the time, the reason is going to be because it doesn't go back to 1990. You may only be able to find four years or 5 years, or you may be only able to look forward instead of backwards. So there's some things there that you'll need to look at. So fundamentally, don't worry about column E and F or column I, the feasibility for that matter. Um, just focus on, and this is why I broke it down this way. I didn't put all that information in there. If you look at just your name and what your question is, and then what I did was I copied it over to a Word document. If you watch some of the other videos, I went through and I did some of the spreadsheet stuff and broke that down um, to figure out my percentages. And I did that right here. This was my contracts. So the proposal number. So if I wanted to look things up by the project ID or the proposal number, which in this case I would use the project ID because that's assigned by the state and or whoever created uh, the project. And so that's going to be the unique identifier. And some of them have two. This one's 70 and 71. So in this case, I'm looking at that contract ID. So if I wanted to go through and find out all of the details associated with that contract ID, or project ID, I could go right here, Control F, Control V, find next. So close. This was originally 11. Estimate range was between 11 and $12 million. And so if I wanted to cross-reference that on the contract log right here, the actual amount was 9,600,000, right? So 9.6 million versus the range estimate of 11 million. So I could go through and I could figure out if I was going further answering different questions, I could say, okay, my project key or my project number is how I'm going to find everything. And so I could designate that a key. This is all database stuff, and we didn't get into this, and I apologize for that. I skipped 3 sections so that I could hurry up and get to this one to finish out these last couple of weeks. Because this was all supposed to be AI. This entire project was going to be AI related. And the original lesson, or the way I was going to go through this, was we were going to answer all the question, or the goal was to answer the question using AI, and then go back and verify our answer, our AI answer versus the data, and work through it backwards. But what I want to focus in more specifically on this is just getting through the questions and going through AI stuff. So if my question was, what was the average, or how accurate was the estimates versus the bids, or the awarded contract amounts? So if that was the question I was trying to answer, I could use this project ID as my primary number that I'm looking at, because it's consistent across both. And I could say, I could do pivot tables or power queries or power pivots and set this up so that I could say this plus, if I were doing a power pivot, what I could do is I could do, I could create a power pivot off of this one and say that this is my key column, meaning that's the unique identifier. There's some data that I would need to clean up here because some of these have 2. So I would want to either copy and paste and double it up, or I'd want to do something to fix that, because that's a little weird. But fundamentally what I would do is I would make a power pivot out of this table and this table, and then I would designate the project ID as the key column. And then what it would do is it would automatically combine all of this information. So the project title, if I wanted to carry over the project versus the project limit, or if I wanted to get the mileage. I don't know if that's contained right here. Yeah, so the mileage isn't contained right here, right? And this is the contractor, not the project name. So if I wanted to combine all of these, I could find this and then create a power query, power pivot that puts the 2 together. Maybe I'll create a spreadsheet, or maybe I'll create a video that just do that. But specifically what I want to talk about is the AI on this. So having that understanding of the questions and how we're trying to answer the questions, and the goal being that it's done primarily in AI, you can go straight forward right into AI. I asked this, I just took a copy and pasted that question, the more difficult of the question, new infrastructure versus unemployment or population growth. This is population growth. I think I wrote it as unemployment. I Okay, so I took what is the infrastructure spend? It was new infrastructure spending more strongly associated with population growth than repair spending in the state of Wisconsin. So it can't answer that right away just because not from the data that we've assembled so far. So from this stuff right here. So what it's telling me is that I need to go through and find all of this information. Then what we would do is compare this information, so correlation of new spending and population growth versus the correlation of repair spending and population growth. So that's what we would want to do through this. So so figuring out how to prompt AI is a big deal. So there's a ton of stuff on it. So if you go to LinkedIn Learning, and I can put some of this out there if you want me to, just email me, or I can email this to you and assign it, or however you want to do it. But you should have access to email or LinkedIn Learning. It's right up here in the right hand side, Learning. It opens this. I typed in AI prompts, how to write an effective. There's different things. This is for engineering. If you want to get into just a super basic, how to write an effective AI prompt for AI, you can watch some videos, 7 minutes, hour and 43. That's a course. A course. But you can go through some of these. Now, alternatively, YouTube. Go into YouTube and say AI prompting for data analysis. You can watch some of these videos, and this has 6 chapters, so this goes into some pretty detailed stuff, and it'll give you the breakdown. But fundamentally, whenever you're talking to AIs, what you want to do is be as absolutely specific as you can, and provide as much data as you can. So in this case, it's telling me that I would need to download all the PDFs, pull all that information, and then try to figure it all out. So I can do that differently, or I could have AI do it, and I could do that in a prompt of saying, rather than 1990 through 2025, let's look at just 2020 through 2025, period. And you create a spreadsheet that shows the statewide spending for new infrastructure, new road infrastructure based on WISDOT data. So you can ask that question. So you can go through each one of these individually. Ask it, can you create me a spreadsheet that shows this? Can you create me this is new data, new construction. Can you show me a spreadsheet that shows repair construction? Can you show me a spreadsheet that shows me the population by county, by Wisconsin County, from 2020 to 2025. Break that down. Then once you have those two, you can ask it to put them together and compare them. So it becomes much easier. So again, I keep saying I'm doing another video. I'm trying to not make these quite so long, but they all come out keeping out at 15 minutes. So I'll stop this one. I'll do another one.